Okay. Getting cozy. Cacao Ceremony. I've gotten so many questions about ceremonial cacao and cacao ceremony in the past couple of months. So in this video, I'll just tell you my connection with cacao, how I drink it, and most importantly, how to make a delicious ceremonial cacao at home and make it really a ritual that helps you reconnect with your heart and drink something delicious that nourishes you, not just physically, but also energetically. Why the heck cacao? I've had an intention of having the fear and doing it anyway, and being more playful in my business and my relationships and taking risks and just being like totally unstoppable and having fun with everything I do. And since I've been doing cacao so often for the last few months, I definitely feel like I embody these ideas way more than ever before. So I had my first cacao ceremony a couple of years ago in Bali, and it was this beautiful gathering at a huge yoga studio, semi-outdoors, and they poured this delicious hot chocolate-like drink with some spices and gave it to everyone, and then we just sat in a circle and we sang different songs and we danced and felt so joyful and so connected to everyone around me. Like I had a lot of alcohol, but I didn't. It was cacao. That night something switched in me, and that curiosity really arose of what is cacao, how is it different from the chocolate bar that you might buy at CVS, or the cacao powder that you might be already putting in your daily smoothies or morning lattes. So then I came back to New York. A lot of things happened in between. If you're curious about what happened, I've talked about it on several podcasts, and there's some videos from Brazil and Bali and Russia and everywhere that you can find on my channel. After I came back to New York, moved into Brooklyn, became a member of this co-working space called The Assemblage. I started going to weekly cacao ceremony every Friday with Florencia Fridman of Cacao Laboratory, and instantly it became this ritual that I'm obsessed with. One, because the cacao tastes so nourishing and so grounding and so delicious, and you can make it so many different ways depending on how you feel, and it's a really fun way to tune into your intuition because you can put maca for energy, you can put ashwagandha for stress management. You take basic ingredients that I'm going to tell you about, and then you can make it totally your own based on how you want to feel. So I go to ceremony and sit with a group of people every single Friday and share either things we're grateful for, what we're calling in, or lessons we're learning, or some things we're ready to let go of. Every week is a little different. And I also buy cacao and make it at home. So when I feel like I need to take a sacred moment and reconnect to either myself or my partner who I live with, we usually create a little ceremony. We burn some sage and Palo Santo and have a cacao ritual together. One thing to note, never have cacao after like 9 p.m. because it can keep you very much woke for a very long time. So if you want to understand more about the history of cacao and the ceremony and how it works, check out the podcast I did with Florencia, who is a professional cacao ceremonialist, and she actually studied it in South America.
I actually went to the jungle in Guatemala and connected with cacao convergence.
My personal experience is that I'm just obsessed with it and how cacao is different from chocolate or cacao powder. Ceremonial cacao is a combination of the cacao butter, so the fat that's in cacao, and the powder. So it's not separated like you usually buy it, but it's all together. So because of that, it's rich not only in magnesium and iron like chocolate usually is, the dark, rich, high quality chocolate, but it also has healthy fat. So it really nourishes and satiates you. How is ceremonial cacao different from non-ceremonial? So first of all, it's just the contents, right? Like I just mentioned. And then second, ceremonial cacao is usually grown and processed with a lot of intention and thought put into it. And it's usually served with an intention as well. So when you're making it, you can actually like play sacred chants or sing sacred songs and really charge it up with love.
Cacaocita, la medicina, cacaocita, la tiriri.
You know what I mean? Like when your grandmother's food is just so basic but tastes so amazing because there's so much love. It's like that. So here's how it works. If you want to start making ceremonial cacao, buy really good ceremonial cacao. I like Cacao Laboratory. Once you have it, how you make it is chop it up, blend it with some hot water. You can add a date or agave or maple syrup to sweeten it. I've also used monk fruit, which is pretty good. Monk fruit is a low glycemic sweetener. And then just either go crazy with all the adaptogens and superfoods and add things like maca and lucuma, or just keep it super simple and add a little bit of sea salt. It's gonna bring out the chocolatiness, and maybe a little of cayenne if you don't mind a little spicy kick. I think that cayenne and sea salt and chocolate flavors go really well together, so that's my favorite ultimate combo. And then you can either serve it hot and drink it as a hot beverage, and maybe even add some steamed almond milk or oat milk. There's a recipe I have for oat milk and almond milk. Both of those are on my channel. Or you can keep it as is. It's either like drinking an espresso or having a latte, so it's the same kind of preferential thing. I like having my cacao pure most of the time, so when it's like super thick and creamy and rich, and not add too many other things to it. Another thing I do love adding though is mushrooms. I also have a whole podcast episode about mushrooms and how to buy them and how to consume them, how they can really help us rewire our brain and find an expansion in our body and really fuel our body to heal itself. I love mushrooms. I grow mushrooms in my kitchen actually. And in terms of the ceremony, once you've made the cacao, what is ceremony? You know, you can go deep into that, or you can just ask yourself what would feel special and ceremonial for you. Maybe it's just lighting some sage. Maybe it's just lighting some Palo Santo to clear the energetic space around you. Maybe it's holding your favorite crystal. My favorite part of ceremony, if I don't do anything and I just do this one thing, when it comes to ceremony, it's setting an intention. So you could use different, I have card decks over there, so like a tarot deck or an angel deck, or you can just ask yourself, close your eyes for a moment, take a few deep breaths and ask yourself, what's important for me right now and how do I want to feel? Either keep it to yourself or share it with the person you're having the ceremony with, or write it down in your journal. Usually when you go to a legit cacao ceremony, like the ones that Florencia does or the one I went to in Bali, there's elements of music and sound and breath, and definitely if you have an opportunity to check that out, do that. If not, just keep it simple. Maybe play some Kundalini mantras and breathe and set your intention and just enjoy the cacao. And remember, when you're drinking the cacao, to really keep your intention present and maybe even visualize and imagine that you're drinking your intention. So with every sip, you're embodying it more and more as you're letting your body relax from the magnesium that's in the cacao. That's just the physical aspect of it. It relaxes your body, but there's also a whole metaphysical and energetic component to ceremony. And I know from experience that whenever I make cacao and blend it into a smoothie or blend it into a latte and then go to my desk and work, nothing really happens. I don't feel much. But if I create a ceremony around it, whether it lasts 10 seconds or 10 minutes or 1 hour, as long as that intention of ceremony and sacred moment in your day is present, then something happens. And I actually feel my heart being more soft and open. And I feel much more connected to myself and to people I'm with. Whenever I do it at home, I get super creative and I get all kinds of different downloads and creative ideas. So find your own ritual with the cacao. Let me know how you're customizing yours. I post more about this on my Instagram accounts. At Woke and Wired is one of them, and at Breakfast Criminals is another one. And definitely check out the podcast that I'm going to link below about cacao and ceremony and how to infuse it into your life and how it can impact your life. That's about it. Try it out, start simple, and I would love to hear how it's going. Cacao. I love cacao. Did I already say that?